Hunters are absolutely cooking in Renegades because today I'm bringing you an incredible combo that with the recent buffs has become a DPS powerhouse. This Void Hunter build combines a newly buffed super that is now stronger than ever with one of the hardest hitting heavy weapons we have, and it synergizes perfectly together. The build is also incredible for neutral play, allowing you to have constant invisibility, constant overshields, and devour for both healing and ability spam. It literally has every base covered. Dim link for the build will be down in the comments or description below. So in Renegades, Moebius Quiver at base got a huge rework. It now has an energy bar on the left which you can charge, which will boost the super's damage and also boost bow damage. At maximum energy, this boosts your super's damage by a whopping 127% additional damage, or as it says in the patch notes, 227% of the original. We combine this with the Hunter exotic item Orpheus rigs, because then we get an extra shot of Moebius Quiver, which can take advantage of another damage boosted quiver shot. Now after testing this super for ages at the firing range, there's a few really key points you need to take away in how you charge this quiver bar. Using 3 shots of Moebius Quiver back to back is not ideal at all. Moebius Quiver damage itself doesn't actually move the energy bar that much. You don't get much extra damage on the second and third shots. And also it ends the super early, meaning you can't take advantage of the extra damage buff elsewhere. So then I started testing weapons which would charge the Moebius Quiver bar the fastest. Primary weapons including primary bows would not charge the weapon that fast. I then switched to a heavy rocket launcher and that was actually much better. But the best weapon to charge the Moebius Quiver bar was actually Leviathan's Breath. 2 fully charged shots of Leviathan's Breath fully charged that quiver energy bar. And not only was Leviathan's Breath great for that, but the crazy thing about this Moebius Quiver buff is that it actually gives your bow a bigger damage buff than your super when fully charged on that energy bar. Leviathan's Breath at base here does 893 damage for the direct impact. With a fully charged Moebius Quiver, the direct impact damage is now 2231. That is a 150% additional, or 250% of the original damage bonus. That is actually insane. Moebius Quiver's base super duration also got boosted to 16 seconds, and with Orpheus rig, the duration actually lasts now for 20 whole seconds. That's 20 seconds to take advantage of a supercharged Leviathan's Breath that hits like a truck. And remember, Moebius Quiver actually applies a 30% weaken debuff to our enemy on top, and that is additional to all the numbers we've talked about so far. So in my eyes, the damage rotation becomes pretty simple. Use Moebius Quiver to fire off the first shot. Then you want to fire off 3 fully charged Leviathan's Breath shots. This will fully charge your energy bar. Then you want to fire off your second Moebius Quiver shot, which will not only have that additional 127% damage bonus from the energy bar, but also have that weakened 30% debuff on top. Then you want to fire off as many Leviathan's Breath shots until your super bar is about to run out, and then you want to fire off your final Moebius Quiver shot to end the damage rotation. The background footage you're seeing here is pretty scuffed. I have no weapon surges, I only have 149 super stat and 62 weapon stat here, and I managed to do over half the boss's health. You can definitely get the boss down way further when fully optimized. It's actually wild how powerful this exotic combo is for a DPS phase. And then not only that, but we have an absolutely incredible kit for neutral gameplay as well with Void Hunter, which keeps triggering Devour for healing, volatile rounds, and invisibility through Stylish Executioner. So now you understand how this works, let's go over the build in a bit more detail. So for your super, you want to run Moebius Quiver, and then for your aspects, you want to first run Stylish Executioner. In this build, we'll be weakening enemies through our Snare Bomb and causing them to become volatile, so this will proc literally after most kills, allowing you to go invisible and survive more for neutral gameplay. For your second aspect, you have a little bit more choice here. I prefer to run Vanishing Step. It gives you a little bit more power over when you go invisible, especially in harder content when you want to survive, but you could easily run On the Prowl for invis through that way, and a bit more ability regeneration. So now you understand the aspects. Here's the abilities we're running. We're running Gambler's Dodge, Triple Jump, Snare Bomb for that weaken, and then for my grenade, I'm running Scatter Grenade, which is actually pretty powerful at base now. For your fragments, you want to run Echo of Undermining, so your Scatter Grenade weakens enemies, Echo of Persistence, so your Devour and Invisibility lasts much longer, Echo of Starvation, so anytime we pick up an Orb of Power or Void Breach, we get Devour, and then Echo of Instability, so anytime we kill any enemies with our grenade, we get volatile rounds. Stat distribution is actually pretty important for the build, and mine, as you can see, is really poorly optimized. You ideally want 200 super stat, which will boost your Moebius Quiver damage as much as possible. Then for your second stat, you want as high a weapon stat as possible. If you can get this to over 100 as well, this will boost Leviathan's breath damage against bosses. Then put some stats into grenade and class ability. And finally, your lowest priority stats are health and melee. For our armor mods, on my helmet, I'm running 1 harmonic siphon mod, so void weapon kills generate orbs of power, and 2 ashes to asset for more grenade super generation. I'm then running 2 firepower mods for grenade kill orb generation and 1 fastball. Run the relevant resistant mods on your chest for your activity, and then on your boots, I actually wasn't running this for the damage testing you saw, but you ideally do want to run as many void surges as possible without sacrificing too many stats. I ended up running 2 void weapon surges, which gives us a 17% damage buff for our Leviathan's breath. Then I finished it off with 1 insulation mod for a bit more class ability generation. For your class item, you want time dilation so your armor charge and therefore weapon surges buff lasts longer. Powerful attraction, so whenever you dodge, it picks up any nearby orbs automatically and triggers some healing with Devour. And then finally, I have 1 bomber mod. You could drop powerful attraction for Reaper, which means every time you dodge and then get a subsequent weapon kill, it will generate an orb of power. In terms of weapons choices, apart from Leviathan's breath, which is mandatory, I highly recommend getting a void energy weapon to take advantage of volatile rounds. I'd recommend one with repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds, so whenever you kill any volatile enemies, it not only triggers Stylish Executioner, but it also gives you an overshield through Repulsor Brace. Destabilizing rounds spreads more volatile and gives you a bit more volatile rounds on top. So the weapon I'm using is Age-Old Bond, but there are quite a few weapons out there with this perk combination. One I can think of is the Lotus Eater, which is an incredible void rocket sidearm, but there are loads out there. No artifact perks are required for the build, so it is fully future-proof, but there are some really good ones to include. Elemental Siphon is a great artifact perk because rapid void weapon kills will create void breaches, which when you pick them up will trigger Devour through Echo of Starvation. Other good ones include Power from Pain, which is another source of Devour. We also have Reload at Range, which will give a stacking bonus to reload speed, which is quite beneficial when you redraw Leviathan's breath each time. And then we have Void Infestation, which will spread weaken throughout the battlefield. So there you have it, my Void Hunter build with Orpheus rigs and Leviathan's breath. That is now an absolute DPS powerhouse in Destiny 2 Renegades. Honestly, you want to try this out as soon as possible. This is one of those rare DPS builds that actually works really well for neutral gameplay as well. If you enjoyed what I talked about today, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny 2 builds as we get deeper into Renegades. I'm Mr. Ronnet, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.